What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about Polestar, tickers PSNY. I want to give you a good overview of what did happen on Friday and potentially where it might be going from here. So I'm going to go over all the stuff you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And without further ado, let's get right to it. So as you can see from the intraday chart from Friday, it was massive. It did hit roughly about $6.60, give or take, started to taper down a little bit. A lot of people were saying this was because of a squeeze, but it's not necessarily the case. So we'll start off by giving you a quick summary of that. Utilization is currently 96.59. Shares on loan is 14.69 million. So that's definitely fairly high. But when it comes down to what shorts did on Friday, they only increased 3,000 shares. So definitely nothing crazy, and by no means there wasn't any squeeze. So again, you guys need to do your own due diligence at the end of the day. There is currently 9.76 million shares, and only 3.75% of the free float is in fact shorted. So even fundamentally on paper, I don't think there is a squeeze opportunity with Polestar, even though cost to borrow is at 129%, give or take. The max is 270%, and then the minimum is 7.26%. So like I said, I don't necessarily think that the situation that did happen on Friday was attributed to a squeeze. But on the contrary, though, it was very positive for the technicals because it did successfully stay above that 50-day moving average. And Polestar typically has always really struggled to stay above that, as you can see. So Friday was actually a very positive day. And in fact, a lot of big money was getting in. So as you can see, based on this is all the options activity that did happen with Polestar on Friday. All the green is calls being purchased. And for instance, just to put it in perspective, this one green candle right here, which represents between a 5-minute span, so between 12:30 and 12:35, there was almost about $42,000 worth of calls being purchased within just that one candle. So all of this is big money buying. So once again, it could be retail, maybe a billionaire or someone like that just wants to throw a couple of dollars at Polestar, but it does go to show that Polestar is most likely getting a lot more institutions looking at it. And same can be said for both the secondary market. So there was about 4 big transactions, so 270,000, 400,000, 104, and 151,000 as far as secondary market. And those are pretty abnormal. Keep in mind, this is what typically investors do trade on as far as retail investors. So it's a normal basic exchange. When it comes down to big money, they typically do trade on the dark pool. So there was only one big transaction that did happen on Friday, so $122,000. So like I said, I think behind the scenes, big money is buying. And you can also tell that based on the latest round of 13Fs. Fidelity did in fact reduce their position almost about 3%, and this was done during Q4. But still, behind the scenes, I think a lot of the big institutions have been really holding off on Polestar for some reason. As I've said in previous updates, Polestar was the only institution, or company I guess I should say, that actually did hit their 2022 production targets. So it always baffles me why Polestar is not more popular than what it should be, or than what it is, I guess. But again, let me know your thoughts on that, or potentially why people do hate Polestar. I'm not necessarily sure. Maybe there's some aspect or the CEO, people don't like it. Maybe I just wasn't filled in. I'm not really sure. But again, I think Polestar is doing a phenomenal job operational wise and should be continuing to do that ongoing as far as 2023 and so forth. But like I said, when it comes down to the technicals, Friday was actually a very big day. Stochastic is currently at 56, so fairly neutral. It was very much overbought, cooled off a little bit. Momentum number retail investors are for the most part getting in a little bit. And like I said, it goes back to just Polestar not being very much popular. So I think in general, you're not going to see very big swings in retail presence or the number of buyers. So again, that's something you need to factor in. As far as what happened on Friday was a start of something very good. Keep in mind, Stochastic, like I said, is still very much neutral. So potentially it does give a lot of upside potential for it to go up. So once again, looking on the technicals, it potentially could reach that 200-day moving average, which is around $7.80 if there is that continuation of momentum, because I think in general, there's a lot more room for Polestar to run, in all fairness, because even more so looking at the recent rally that did happen here, it did hit a high of around $8, give or take. So I think there is a lot more room for Polestar to go, and overall, Polestar is doing fairly well, like I said. So fundamentally, it might be a very good time to buy, but keep in mind, as I always say, I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. And clearly, whether you guys like it or not, big money is quietly buying Polestar and accumulating it because it is at a fairly big discount to what it can actually offer. So again, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships. Link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom screen. With that said, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Polestar.